Moin Moin, wir sind hier heute bei Century Media zusammen mit Warrel und Lenny von Sanctuary und wir haben gerade das Heftinterview gemacht, also alles zur neuen Platte The Year the Sun Died, lest ihr im aktuellen Rockhard, aber wir wollen noch im Videointerview ein bisschen über ihre Heimatstadt Seattle reden. So Warrel, Lenny, talking about your hometown Seattle, what is special compared to other big cities in the US?
The first thing that comes to mind is a lot of our friends that are European that visit Seattle always say Seattle feels like the most European city in the U.S. And I've heard that so many times. Obviously, it must be it. I guess I'm not sure why, but
yeah, and I think it's great too because we have bodies of water, and we also have areas where you can go, like out where we live. It's in the mountains and wilderness and everything. It's all very close by. You don't have to go that far to get to it. So it's very cool because of that. So.
And Seattle played a main role musically on the map in the 90s. So how did you experience this whole grunge phase back then?
That was a difficult time for metal bands in Seattle because a lot of the people in the music community in Seattle had absolutely no respect for metal bands whatsoever. We definitely persevered and got through it. And it was a little bit difficult at times because, we struggled, but, we definitely got through it and we survived. And a lot of these other bands that were looking down on the metal bands, they're not around anymore, but we still are, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, Seattle, we definitely have to talk about Nirvana too. So how did you remember this time and how did you like the music back then?
I love Nirvana. I know a lot of metal people like Nirvana as well, but I think Kurt Cobain was a genius as far as a songwriter. And he was obviously a very tortured soul. And I think he's really missed by a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Nevermind came out. That was right at the time where Loomis had actually joined Sanctuary, and it was kind of the beginning of the end of Sanctuary. But I do remember that time and the album breaking and everything. It was very an intense time for obviously for Nirvana. But that was a great record too, by the way. I mean, it's still. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's up for debate. But I mean, I think Nevermind was definitely a timeless record. So, yeah.
Bleach was really, really, really fucking good.
Not only important for the grunge movement, but I think Seattle was always a city where many drugs seem to be involved. So what do you think? Why is that? Is it just because it's a harbor city, so the drugs land there? Or did the musicians use that to push their creativity?
You know what? This is really fucked up. I mean, when Jim and I had the restaurant, we had a lot of kids that worked there with us that were, worshiping Kurt and worshiping Lane. And a lot of them were doing heroin because they thought it would make them cool like Lane and Kurt. And that is so messed up. And heroin got so popular just because of that. I'm like, okay, these people are dead. Why are people wanting to do it? Because it's just going to fucking kill you in the end. It was really, really weird.
Yeah, but I think once you try it and you get hooked on it, then there's probably no way out of it. It seems glamorous at the time because these rock stars are doing it, but then you get hooked on it and it's fucked. So,
okay, what do you think is a must-see in Seattle when you visit the city?
I guess it depends upon what you're looking for, but I mean, Pike Place Market's awesome.
Yeah, you have to see the fish market and Pike Place Market when they're throwing the fish. It's kind of amazing.
The EMP museum. It's all right.
The ugliest building in Seattle.
Right inside, there's some interesting shit.
Not really, no.
Well, if you're into Seattle music,
there's a pair of Elvis's shoes in there. That's the coolest thing about the EMP museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bjorn from Soilwork freaked because he loves Elvis. He saw his shoes, freaked out.
And one final question, what is the best restaurant you guys like to go?
You know what, it's funny because my favorite restaurant, actually, one of my favorite restaurants to this day is part of the franchise that they owned, actually, and it's Vince's Pizza.
Yeah. what he said.
Ever since I was
Best pizza ever.
Ever since I was a kid, you know, when I was a little kid, my dad used to take me there, and you know, I actually met Jim Shepard at Vince's restaurant. I worked there. I was the janitor there. He was a chef there. Met him there, and then these guys ended up buying one. So it's all kind of one big tie-in. So
I was trained by the owner, Vince, who he came from Naples in, I think, 1953, and opened the first one in Renton Highlands. And he taught me everything. He taught me how to make pizza. And this is kind of a funny story. When he was teaching me how to toss pizza, he told me, and I'm going to say this with a bad Italian accent, when you take the pizza dough, you treat it gently like a woman's pussy, and then it will open for you. And I'll never forget that.